time. And yeah, Rick, stage is yours.
Let's go, man. Thanks for having me here. First of all, welcome everyone once again. Welcome to our guests from Little Ghosts NFTs. Pleasure to have you here. I believe the team here is JMW and also Artur. Is that correct?
It's actually me and Meme, but JMW is also a investor as well, and it's
All
mostly
right,
a
perfect.
driven kind of AMA, so we can all contribute in some ways, I guess.
That's great, man. Tell me about yourself. How are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Enjoying the life lately, looking good.
That's amazing. I'm excited to be here. I'm gonna be honest with you, Archer. I'm kind of scared. You know why? Because we're dealing with ghosts. Ghosts are scary. No, it's a quick joke.
No, that was a good one. That was a
No,
good
I
one.
mean,
Even though they're little, they're still scary. You know, I still got some traumas back from Super Mario. You know, when you turn your back on them, they're just going to chase you. Be like, hey, what's wrong with these ghosts?
well, yeah, it's the intention that they have to look kind of spooky at least. You know,
Awesome.
we're ghosts after all. Look at the big smile.
Awesome.
Good,
It's a
but
pleasure. It's a pleasure having you here. Just to let you know, this AMA is going to be divided into three parts. Just to give you some context of what is going to happen in the next few, let's say 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Who knows how long this will take, of course, if the community, gets in it. But it's going to be divided into three parts. Part number one is going to be the introduction. We're just going to get to know each other. We do have the investors from the Predator Call channel here, and basically get to know each other so they know who's behind the project, what other projects you've done in the past, if there's any. So basically give us some context about yourself, the intention, the vision. Then we'll go to some more technical details, asking more detailed or project-specific questions, and then we'll just open up the chat for the community, for them to ask any questions that they want. Okay? Are you okay with this? Right?
yeah, sure, sounds good.
Amazing, man. So tell us about yourself. Like, what got you into crypto? What has gotten you to this place right now? Are you the main developer of this beautiful project? Let us know about yourself.
Artur, did you want me to go, or did you want to take us?
I don't know. Do you want to start? I don't know. I can
Sure,
tell
sure.
a bit about myself when I started crypto and so on, and about my journey so far.
Sure, go ahead, and then I'll take over after.
Yeah. Okay, so I started crypto last year, about May, something around there. Went straight into the low cap journey, as we all know, big risk, big reward. Hit some gems, some rugs, as we probably all have done. But been in Little Ghost since December, early December, something like that. And I've never looked back since finding. It's the only project I've seen that has under-delivered and under-promised and over-delivered so far. And I've been just loading up what I can.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Great, man. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
let me tell a little bit about myself. I don't mean to cut you off there, but just to give everybody a little synopsis of who you're even speaking to. Believe it or not, Artur and I, neither of us are actually on the team. This is more of a community-driven project. As far as well, not necessarily community-driven project. It's him and I are just kind of representing the community for this little AMA session. We have our CEO Tyler. He is a docs developer. He has a very, very big vision for Little Ghosts and the whole crypto space as a whole. Him and I have actually spoke a lot one-on-one when I was setting up Twitter Spaces, and just being an investor that's really involved in the project. I tend to sort of bring myself to be around those that are in control of the project and those that are on the team. So that's how Tyler and I sort of grown to know one another. Just a little quick update for everybody. NFT Miami Week is actually coming up next weekend, and I was the one that sort of nudged Tyler, our CEO, and one of our lead developers to come down to Miami. That's where I'm currently located. So yeah, we kind of just sort of got to know each other just by him being working on the project, me just being an active community member, and just being around the Little Ghost ecosystem for this long. That's how I'm just comfortable coming up here with Artur, being able to answer questions and basically talk to anybody else about the project. And Tyler and our lead developer, Relaxedly, they also instilled that trust into Artur and I to be able to like facilitate an AMA and talk about the project. So that's sort of what I am. I'm quite literally just a community member, but I have been pretty hard on the socials since the inception of Little Ghost back in last September. So that's sort of where I am. And Artur also found himself being very similar to me in a sense of he's just been super active, just absorbing all the information like a sponge. And like I said, the two people at the top, they really entrusted us in this AMA because I'm not gonna lie, man, they work 20 hours a day and they live off of Red Bull. So if our turn, I can sit here and speak to you guys for
life.
It helps you guys. I mean, it helps them out a lot. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Sounds great. I totally understand you. The developer life is kind of crazy. And I really love what you're saying. Like, you're a member of the community. So this actually shows that this project doesn't only have a good development team, but also a great community. So you being here, by being a member of the community, taking on this AMA, I find that really interesting and pretty bullish. So that does say a lot about the community. I also want to mention for our investors here and everyone who's listening, there is going to be a giveaway for the best questions asked. So pay attention and write down your questions. So if you have something you want to ask them, Artur or our other friend, Millionaire, directly, you can also do that. You will be eligible to participate in a giveaway for one Little Ghost NFT or $20 worth of Ecto. So just wanted to mention that. So one thing, I did get into the group earlier on and started asking a couple questions, and I did receive, the treatment I received from the community was really warming and really welcoming. Can you tell us a little bit more about the community and how it's working? Because when I got inside the Telegram group earlier on, I had a really good vibe coming out of it. So can you tell us more about the community that's being built right now? Let's start there.
Yeah, Artur, did you want to take this question? I'll add on to it afterwards, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess I could do a recap, I guess, of what happened during the downtrends and what happened after the downtrend. If people are interested in that story.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically back when we launched, we were supposed to launch on a different launchpad, and that had some problems. So we had to reschedule because basically our dev didn't want to launch on a platform that was taking tokens that they can later dump onto us. So after the launchpad we were supposed to launch that failed, he coded his own in, what was it, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, so basically just setting the stage for like the community. When we were launching the Ecto token initially, we did take a while to figure out where we're going to launch because, like Artur mentioned, a lot of these pads, they actually take a significant amount as like a fee, and then the second the coin or token gets some traction, the launch pad will just sell the token to make more money for themselves because they're running a business. That's how they operate. So we ended up finding a lesser known launch pad. They were just starting out, which is totally fine, and we tried to give them a shot. And like I was mentioning earlier, like the reason why I'm here and Artur as as a community member and a mod is because of how hard our CEO Tyler and how hard Relaxedly work. Anything that they can do or find to give themselves less work to focus on what they need to be doing, they do. So that's why they chose that route of finding a new launch pad. And when they did, unfortunately, it did fall through. However, we were already delivering nonstop on our smaller roadmaps up until the launch of Ecto. And when that launch pad fell through, Tyler, our CEO, he just took it upon himself and he just developed an entire launch pad himself in just about under 48 hours. And then, after he audited the code himself, he went ahead and set the launch forward. And then just a little more context to that. Turns out there was a very, very minor issue in the actual contract for Ecto the first time around, and within a half an hour, he identified it. He paused all the trading, all that stuff, and he was able to resolve it on a new contract like within a day. So it almost feels like whenever we have an issue or whenever there's a road bump, or excuse me, a speed bump or a fork in the road, it just seems like the community is so okay waiting for whatever's going to happen, because they know that in the end Tyler is just going to deliver. Right now we have a lot of items on our roadmap. I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, first of all, it has really seemed like how Artur mentioned, it's so much so under promising and over delivering, and that's how it's been for just about 2.5 months now. So even if something slipped through the cracks, or even if one thing might not have gotten completed on our roadmap, I mean, if it takes Tyler an extra couple of days, the entire community would band behind him and like understand, because of just how many times he has delivered before. And just to sort of kind of wrap this up with the community, I will admit, I feel like the Little Ghosts have grown on everybody. I do see a lot of people on Twitter, because I am on Twitter a lot. I see so many people all over in all different types of NFT projects. They switch their profile pictures all the time. They're currently looking into like new types of projects to pursue. And it just seems like the community members in Little Ghosts have just been so accustomed to just nonstop building and nonstop growth for the last 6-7 months. I mean, personally speaking, I haven't even changed my profile picture on Twitter in ages, just because I appreciate Little Ghosts so much. And it just seems like the whole community has just become so attached to their ghosts, and they're very happy with the NFT itself, but they're also very, very happy that when they're on social media, when they're on Twitter talking about the project, they know that they are selling others real utility. They're not just selling others a JPEG. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that later, but I just wanted to sort of wrap that up about the community.
Amazing, man. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you also for the details. And I think this is the perfect time to get into the little bit of details about the NFTs and the utilities. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I am looking at the roadmap on the website. If you're listening here and you're for our investors, you can also go to the website, which is littleghosts.com, and you can also review the roadmap live while we have them here in the VC, to make sure that you also understand and not just hear what they're saying, but also be able to see it, which I think it's really important as well, so you get the full picture. By the way, brother, I want to say that the website design is amazing. I love the little ghosts on the screen that just move around. I find that really, really bullish and interesting. So tell us about the NFTs. Now, how many are they? What's the utility behind them? Why would I want to have one of those NFTs? Let's start there.
Do you want to speak me more?
I don't even know where to start. Let me just get a sip of water for this, because
yeah, the stage is yours. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will try to start us off, and if I miss anything, because there is just so much, I'll have Artur step in. But let's just
Let's start with this one. Let me simplify for you a little bit to not make it so broad, right? Let me try to be a little bit more specific. Let's start with Little Ghosts, right? Because we know the name of the project. We've shared it a couple times already. We mentioned it. But what is Little Ghosts for our investors that maybe just joined or that are not yet clear on what is this project. And yeah, let's start there. What is Little Ghosts?
So to begin, I'm going to start off by probably saying a lot of investor buzzwords, but allow me to dive pretty deep into them. So yes, we are actually developing a fully fledged. Hopefully, people will perceive it as AAA quality. That's what we're striving for. We're not really trying to make just a typical mobile game or a 2D game or a pixel game, even though we do have pixel ghosts. But let me just sort of rewind in a little bit of the history about Little Ghosts and kind of explain to how we got to where we're at. So as you might have noticed, some of our ghosts, you might have seen them looking as a 2D image that is just floating. So all of our ghosts, all 10,000 of them, started as a collection of just 2D GIFs that float. And the idea was that they were going to eventually be the playable characters in a 2.5D/3D game. And after a couple months of developing, Tyler made the decision, let's call it the executive decision. He said, you know, we got to really take this to the next level. I can't have 2D ghosts floating around in a game because I really want it to be quality, and I really want it to, like, I really want the game to capture my vision 100%. So with that being said, he kind of put the game on pause for a sec to then make the entire collection of 10,000 ghosts, which are all 2D GIFs. He ended up turning them all into 3D. So first and foremost, these NFTs themselves, utility aside, the NFTs themselves, there are two ways to display them. You can either see them as a 2D image and a 3D image. And by no means was this an easy task whatsoever. I'm trying to also, well, actually, while I'm speaking, Artur, if you could actually post maybe like a 2D image in the chat and then a 3D image after, just so the listeners can see what I'm talking about. I will continue on.
I'll post a couple of my own ghosts.
Yeah, perfect. So what happened was, for the vision to really be fully realized, Tyler said, you know what? This is just going to be a 3D game. We're going to turn all the ghosts into 3D, free of charge to the community. By the way, this is not a cheap task to do because Blender artists are not the easiest to find. And Tyler had to go through plenty of artists and a lot of money later to eventually find someone who could really bring a 2D pixel image of a ghost to life in 3D, and not just an image. These aren't just pasted images. These are fully rendered in cycles on Blender, and all the ghosts are rigged in Blender as well. So, like, these are going to be the in-game playable characters inside of the Little Ghosts MMO. That's just first and foremost. So they are entirely 3D. They're all rigged. You know, when you put a weapon in a ghost's hand, the ghost is going to be able to have all these different attack animations. I'll actually pull up just a really rough draft of our login screen right now. I'm uploading it currently. Like, notice how when you play that video, the ghost is going to be able to float around and move its eyes. Just everything is rigged in this 3D world to really take, you know, crypto games and pay to earn games to the next level. And that's why it's sort of been taking us a little bit of time, because when we decided to, you know, make the game 3D instead of 2.5D, you know, that we realized it was going to take a lot of time and resources to really make it perfect. So long story short, we do have a 3D game coming. All the ghosts, all your NFTs are going to be fully rigged in Blender and as a 3D asset so that they're playable in the game. Just to give a little bit of context, we do have alpha releasing within about a week from now. That's going to be closed to the team and select members of the community. And then when beta comes out, beta is when we're going to enable the pay to earn aspects, but we've already thought this through. We're going to make the pay to earn aspects very low so that we can kind of gauge how much money is flowing into and out of the game to make sure that the entire pool isn't, you know, drained immediately. And for the beta game, you will actually be required to own the NFT. Yes, you are going to be able to like play the game if you own the NFT, and that's basically giving those early investors, those people who believed in the project early on to actually buy the NFT. That's giving them a chance to play the game, a chance to earn money first, and then towards the end of the year is when the full game release is supposed to come out, and by that time, anybody's going to be able to play. Anybody's going to be able to earn, whether you own a ghost or not. However, the NFTs are going to continue having utility inside of the game in a sense where, someone who has an NFT ghost will have more perks than someone without. So that is just the most basic utility of the ghosts themselves. They also give voting power in our DAO, which does work, which we have had proposals pass and actually get enacted through the team. So just whatever we have in the ecosystem, it can be tied into something else, and it is related to something else. And whenever we made something, we just had the idea to whatever we put out there, it has to have utility. There has to be a reason to own it. There has to be a reason to buy into it. Otherwise, it's harder to shill. It's harder to sell to real investors. It just seems like these days people are getting pretty tired of shilling vapor and selling vapor on social media, trying to get other investors to buy vapor. So back to the community aspects, I mean, it just seems like everybody's really, really on board to just be in the community and push it forward, because I mean, it's been a crazy couple months of just nonstop deliverances, and the community has been just fully supportive of it this entire time. I didn't mean to go off into a little tangent there, but yeah.
Amazing, man. I love how broad you are in your explanations. That's pretty good, because it tells us you're not trying to hide anything. You're trying to be here as open as you can, and that's pretty admirable. So thank you for sharing all that information with us. So just to do a small recap for just basically I'll word what you said, and the NFTs, it's not 100% required for the long run of the game. Like, let's say towards the end of the year, when the game gets fully developed and fully completed, the NFT will not be 100% required. However, if anyone wants to access early and start benefiting from the play to earn and all other benefits and aspects, then they will require to have one NFT, a little ghost, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and it makes sense because, right, if we're playing an NFT game, and this is true for many NFT games as well, that you need to have the asset, you need to have the character in order to be able to play the game, which is what makes this sustainable. Now, speaking of sustainability, how do you see this on the long run? How do you see the sustainability of LittleGhosts game on the long run by adding more people, let's say more investors, more players, when the free-to-play part of the game comes out? How do you see the sustainability? How is this supposed to maintain itself in the long run? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, for sure. So let me just dive a little bit deeper. I'm gonna try to speak slower than I usually do, and I'm gonna try to really pace this, because I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I do kind of have this talk with a lot of people I know in real life, whether I meet them when I'm out or at like certain events, and a lot of the time they're all really into it, but they all say information overload, and I'm like, I know. So let's sort of break down the system, because a lot of things have actually been thought about in advance. So we typically don't speak about this much, because between you and I, between Artur and the rest of the people in here, reflection models and taxes, as far as, if you hold a coin, if you hold an NFT, you get rewarded for holding it. We don't really like to talk about that as a utility, but we do actually feature that. So we do have our own native marketplace on littleghosts.com, where you can actually buy and sell our native collection of Little Ghosts. You can sell another collection that we have. I'm not even going to get into that right now. And whenever there's a transaction, there is a 10% fee that is taken out, and that's broken down between, that's broken down between the team. They get a small cut of it, and then those that own ghosts get 5%, and then those that actually minted a ghost get 2%. So the way that model is broken down, 10% of tax is taken out of every transaction on the marketplace. 3% goes to the team, 5% goes to ghost holders, and then 2% goes to original minters. So even if you're somebody who minted ghosts at the beginning as a token for being an early investor, even though you might not have any ghosts anymore, you still can earn through the ecosystem. Those that own ghosts obviously make the most, and then the team gets a little bit of funds for themselves as well. And there's a lot of cost there because there are a lot of people on payroll, given the size of our project.
Awesome. Let me get in here to something real quick, because I wanna actually stick this out. Is so by having an NFT, I'm not just able to join the game early, I also get passive income. Is that what I'm understanding from what you're saying?
That's exactly what we're saying.
All right, that's great. Keep on going. Okay, thanks. Just wanted to clear that out for our investors as well.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping me there, because I don't want to just talk about 100 different things at once. So with that being said,
that's important. Thank you for letting me, communicate with this.
For sure. So with that being said, I'm just gonna go off on a limb here and just mention to everybody, we are utilizing a lot of technology from Chainlink. They do have a lot of very good tech as far as randomization and just having accurate statistics reported, and all these things are going to be put into the game. And just to kind of give everybody a quick synopsis, this is a MMORPG. This is a massively multiplayer online game. So if you can imagine, if you could think of examples like RuneScape or maybe World of Warcraft, if you clear a dungeon and you get to the end of a boss room and you clear that boss fight, you get a loot box and then there's items inside. Or if you kill a small NPC or mob just to train up some stats, they also drop items and loot. Every single thing in this game is going to be tokenized. Every single item, every single piece of loot is going to be an NFT itself. And not only that, these items and NFTs are also going to be featured on our marketplace. And on our marketplace, there's that 10% tax that is going to be taking place. So if you can imagine, even though ghost volume might be X amount of money, just from people buying and selling ghosts, if people are playing the game, which I will be honest, it seems like a lot of people are going to be playing the game, and they are buying and selling items, that's going to fuel the rewards even more, and it all goes back to those that hold ghosts and originally minted ghosts. So
that sounds pretty. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I see much like I foresee such higher volume in terms of in-game items like pieces of armor, weapons, all that stuff. Some of these boss monsters are going to have really, really rare drops that might become worth more than some of the rarest ghosts. You know what I mean? So it seems like there's going to be so much more volume from in-game items than ghosts, and in the end, it goes back to the ghost holders.
That's amazing. So the whole design, the whole ecosystem is designed to continually feed itself, and for sustainability, as I can see, the market, tax fee, and the other rewards for the holders of the NFTs. So yeah, it seems to be pretty well thought after. And speaking about the game, is the game going to be Web3 based, or is it going to be an application that has to be downloaded, or how is it going to be? Do you know about that?
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest. This is something that Tyler actually spoke to me about when we were preparing for one of our spaces that we had a couple weeks ago. We sort of realized that. Well, he sort of realized. Let me just quickly put out there this kid is like the Vitalik Buterin of BNB. Like I'm not even exaggerating by saying that. I mean, a lot of the long-term community members can vouch that this guy's top notch. So everything he does is extremely calculated and well thought out. But he has realized that no matter what game you're on, no matter what crypto game you're trying to make, you're not going to last, and you're not going to make it in this space unless you're utilizing every single inch of Web3 and utilizing every single thing to integrate whatsoever. Like, for example, we all know Axie Infinity, or a lot of us have probably heard about it. that's all ran on Ethereum, but again, because it's ran on Ethereum, it's expensive. And that causes a lot of problems on its own. So we know that, first of all, our NFTs are going to be bridged everywhere on every single layer 1 chain. They're going to be accessible on Ethereum, AVAX, Crow, even the likes of Solana. I mean, every single smart contract chain you could think about, Little Ghosts are going to quite literally float to, and they're going to be accessible on those marketplaces on Looks, OpenSea, Magic Eden. So we know we have to integrate every single big player. We're integrating CCIP from Chainlink immediately when it launches. That is something that Tyler has really been into, and he's been eagerly waiting for that to come out, because that facilitates true randomization within a game. So if you think about true randomization, you're going to want things like that for loot boxes, and when certain NPCs, drop items in the game, you want that to be as random as possible while being all on chain. This is where he would be much better at explaining it. He wants to integrate the likes of Internet Computer into the game, and he basically wants every single aspect to be decentralized and always be decentralized. And then I think eventually impossible to shut down. That's sort of his thought process. And if we continue this conversation, it would get really complex very quickly. But if he was able to be here next time, he would definitely be the one to explain it. But he plans on utilizing every single chain possible and integrating everything and all chains into the game to make it possible.
Awesome, man, and thank you as well for your answers. Regarding the bridging, when I was doing my research on the group, I do see that there was the ETH breach was coming soon. I wanted to ask you, Doug, do you know how soon is soon? Like, how soon is that? Is that on Q1, or is it going to be on the second quarter of 2022?
Artur, I'll let you tell him how soon that is.
Yeah. How soon? Everyone's asking when bridge.
When bridge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When bridge is scheduled for Monday. So
Monday.
that's gonna be
Holy,
yes, that's gonna be very
Monday
interesting.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that is tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, that is tomorrow,
That's soon.
actually. Yeah.
Pretty soon. Let's go. That's pretty amazing. Now, getting into technical questions regarding this, like, tell me about the marketing, because the bridge is coming tomorrow. What are the marketing regarding that? I mean, what's the marketing around it? How have you grown the project so far? Because I did see something, and I'm gonna point this out. I actually wrote it down here because it was a great one. I saw that the lowest point of the coin Ecto was actually on January 24th, which was about 62 days ago, 63. And it's done a whopping 5x since then. I mean, the Ecto has done a 5x since its lowest point, and I would love to ask you, what has been going on the marketing side these past 60 days that have caused this amazing movement and this huge growth that it's been going on? I can tell that the community has been part of it, because you two are here and you're doing a great, amazing job and just explaining everything. But marketing-wise as well, what has been done, what has happened, and what is going to continue happening from now on regarding the marketing?
All right. Artur, I can already imagine Artur's face with what I'm about to say. I'm gonna be completely honest. We have actually not paid for any marketing in the last 62 days, or ever since this unbelievable daily all-time high has happened. I just want to leave it at this, and I will touch upon the future marketing, because there absolutely will be a lot of marketing, especially once the game beta is more near. But let's just talk about these last 2 months just to start, because it's just been an incredible journey. I mean, I don't mean to be a moon boy in the AMA, but it's just been truly a ride, and all the community members have been on board for it. So we've been really just hitting social media extremely hard. It has become very easy promoting Little Ghosts, because everybody who's promoting it knows they're not just promoting a JPEG. it seems like the climate of crypto, you know, a lot of people want to get a lot of money quickly, and a lot of people want to find the next 1000x. But to be honest, I mean, the next 100x, the next 1000x, if you think about the tortoise and the hare, it's going to be the tortoise. And Little Ghost has been the tortoise in this race because we've just been nonstop delivering on the roadmap. We've been nonstop dropping teasers into the chats. You know, ever since every single holder got a 3D version of the Ghost for free, a 3D version of their NFT for free. They literally have 2-in-1 NFTs for free. That changed their entire collection. Now they have 2 ways to look at their collection. Now they have really cool 3D images to share of their little ghost. Now they know what their little ghost is going to look like in the 3D MMO. So the community has been so excited to share every little thing. You know, Tyler and Lee have been dropping teasers nonstop about how the game is going to look. Recently this week, we got a login screen, and there's animations that go along with that. Relaxed Leaf, our current lead developer, he dropped a little teaser about how the NFT bridge to Ethereum looks, and just and then apparently I wasn't even around for this. Apparently we have a listing on StrikeX coming out in Q2. That kind of caught me by surprise, I'm not gonna lie. So just nonstop giving the community something to spread like wildfire almost every single day has been really the main factor with the success so far. And I will pause right there to talk about marketing and in the future. Right now, all money that comes in is just getting thrown right back into the ecosystem. I know that when the beta launches, like for real, by then we're going to have to need multiple Unity developers on the team working full time to be able to deliver updates to a real MMO game weekly, bi-weekly, whatever. And that's going to cost money. And we know that the community has proven to us, and they've shown themselves that if we give them an attack animation that looks like it was recorded with a potato phone, they know that they can take that attack animation and shill it all over Twitter and get the buzz going. So the community has just been the #1 factor of the current success on top of the team just nonstop developing. But like I was saying, in the future, when there's much more money coming in, these salary positions on the team have been filled and they are able to be easily paid, you know, weekly, bi-weekly on payroll. Then the serious marketing comes out. We sort of told ourselves that marketing is sort of a buzzword in this space, but let's use crypto.com and FTX as an example. Those two companies have marketed so much, it's impossible not to know them. We sort of want to build up Little Ghost to a point where we're going to be able to market it nonstop until it's a household name. And then once it's a household name, guess what? They're still getting it marketed directly onto their devices. So we're taking it really easy right now. We don't necessarily want to spend money on marketing because we have tried that in the past and it didn't work as well as we had anticipated. And every single ounce of money that is going into our project is just getting re-rolled back into the development, back into whatever we need done to get this project going. So marketing is definitely coming, but we are doing excellent on hype alone and the community just rallying together to really push it to the next level. I mean, the community's been nonstop. The community is why this current AMA is taking place. So that's just that's exactly what's possible with this community.
Pretty interesting, man. That's pretty great what you're saying. Again, one thing, NFT gaming, this is the year. If you ask me, this is the year of NFT gaming and gaming metaverse, basically. So the fact that we're having this AMA today and that this game has been having such a great growth and such a great community behind, that's pretty bullish. Like the #1 thing any kind of crypto project needs, specifically if it's an NFT gaming project, needs a strong community, which is the reason, and I'm going to take into context a game you mentioned earlier, which was Axie. Most of the people in the crypto space that are in metaverse gaming know about Axie. And the reason why Axie is Axie, it's because of the community. So listening to you...
I totally agree.
Yeah, and you've been saying, like, when you said the marketing. No, it's a community. That was shocking because not all projects have such a dedicated community, and that where it all starts. Like if you want to have a successful project, then you need to make sure that you have a good product, a good project, and also the community is behind to support it. Which of course in this case, it's been pretty bullish. Also, I've been looking at the group. I think that we've been having shared the little attack animations and also some 3D models. So tell us about that. So those are the bosses of the game. That looks pretty cool. Also, the attack animation, they look pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, if you could tell, the game is a little bit of has a little bit of Norse mythology influence. As you can see, that's Cerberus. We have Medusa, and then I forgot the name of the other boss with the gold armor, but she is called Death Fury. And yeah, it's just a very mythical sort of inspiration for the game, but also based in the underworld. I mean, we're all used to like little elves or human characters or orcs if we're thinking about things like World of Warcraft. It's very irregular to see quite literally little ghosts being the main characters of like an MMO. So that's also really cool in itself. Something I just want to mention about those 3D models. Those models are not just pictures. They are not just 3D renders of a model. And this is what I was talking about when I said, I mean, Tyler has a lot going on in his head, and he wants the game to be as perfect as possible, and he wants it to really fulfill his vision. See that dog Cerberus with the 3 heads? Every single limb on that dog is rigged to be able to move. Every single finger can move. Every single joint on that body can be moved. And they are all rigged in Blender so that, it's a 3D game. It's not just going to be a pixel image that's standing still or anything like that. Like that entire 3D model is entirely rigged inside of Blender so that when it gets put into Unity, it's going to look like a full-fledged 3D game. These are not easy tasks. Just talking with Tyler, I mean, he's probably been through over double-digit artists to try to capture his vision appropriately. But if we look at Medusa with the green hair, the green snakes in the hair, like every single snake in her hair is rigged to be able to flow in the wind, to move. These aren't just concept arts. These are completed bosses that they are ready to just get copy pasted into the game. I'm pretty sure they already are at this point because Alpha's coming out. But these aren't just images. This takes a lot of work, and sometimes I almost feel like the community doesn't really fully know what they're currently invested in. You know what I mean? It seems like we all have a pretty good idea, but given what people are normally talking about in the crypto space, when you hear about Shiba Inu and you hear about Dogecoin and you hear about this and that, it almost feels like the community truly isn't fully aware of what they're holding. I mean, what I think we're holding Axie Infinity 1,000x ago. That's how I interpret this ecosystem for what's going on with the amount of money in it right now.
Yeah, and Axie Infinity started the same way we're starting here. Sandbox also started with 1 million market cap. So, and look where they are right now. Like every big project started small. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Metaverse this year. Metaverse gaming is going to be, in my opinion, of course, it's going to be a game changer completely. The gaming industry is huge. I myself, I am a passionate gamer. I love video games, so I am bullish as fuck on everything that has to do with the metaverse. So yeah, thank you for all of the answers and for the explanations. I want to open up a small space here in case anyone here from the community has a question that you've been wanting to ask. You can raise your hands and you can go ahead and ask. Before we continue here, I'll just have a couple more questions, a couple of things that come into my mind, like what the tax is specifically. I'm looking at the roadmap and also the white paper here. It says the token is a 15% tax, buy and sell, right?
Yes, but that's currently altered. It's currently altered a little bit.
Yeah, the buy right now is lower. I did check. There's a there's a DAO. Can you tell us more about the DAO?
Sure. So currently there is a different buy tax than what the original white paper had indicated. It did start off as 15% on buys, 15% on sells, and just as the project kind of as it went along in the timeline, we decided as a community, before we even had the DAO, we figured it might be in our best interest to lower the buy tax to 15, cut it in half and promote a little bit more buy pressure. So we did that, and we have had that since, I believe, December. So that's how it's been, or maybe early January. That was before we had the DAO. Now that we have a DAO, it's utilized as, people in the community can put forth something that they want to be changed. They could also help guide the roadmap for the ecosystem, just all things of this nature. And one of the more common hot topics recently has been the buy tax. There are a lot of opinions on it, and I'm not even going to get into them right now. But at the moment, if you would like to see a change, and I believe there is one right now up for change, the community votes on it. If it passes, that's great, and if it doesn't, also great. But when something in the DAO does pass, it still has to go up the ladder, and then our CEO Tyler still does have the final say. So kind of think of it as, yes, there is a decentralized autonomous organization guiding the project and helping with the decision making based on their voting power, based on their investment. However, think of it as like the president of the United States or other democracies, where if the House or Senate presents a bill and they vote on it, the president can still veto it. That's a similar structure that we're seeing here at LittleGhosts. So yes, it is decentralized, but in the end, Tyler, not only is he the CEO, he also is the biggest investor in the project as far as holdings. So that's also why he's given that power and why he assumes that power.
Great. And let me ask you this real quick. Tyler's been mentioned a lot, and I am a curious person naturally. Where can we find Tyler? Like, is he doxed? Is there any information regarding him or any other information we can get regarding Tyler itself? Like, is he doxed?
Yeah. And while I'm speaking, I'll get Artur to drop his Twitter in the chat below. Yeah, he's fully doxed.
Great.
I'm going to be honest. The reason why he actually is fully doxed is because he needed to be fully doxed to be able to get Chainlink integration. When it comes to like talking to these other big, very, very large projects, by the way, we are not partnered with them. It is more of an integration. These huge projects, they don't necessarily want to call these things partnerships. It's just integrations. But to even get to that point, Tyler did have to go ahead and dox himself, sign a bunch of legal documents provided by them to be able to go forth with the integrations. And the two integrations that we have, one is for accurate pricing in our marketplace, and the other one is going to be for randomizing loot boxes in a true decentralized way. And both of these things that are provided by Chainlink, we have access to them because the person running the project is doxed. This also goes for things such as internet computer documentation. He's able to kind of get this not necessarily insider, but he's able to interact and integrate other products into the LittleGhosts because he is doxed.
All right, that's great, man. I love when developers dox themselves. It's just so bullish, man. Like, yeah. So yeah, if you can, Artur, please share Tyler's Twitter on the Predator Calls group. That way we can do a little bit of research there.
And Mr. Hunter. So I just see that he read the message, so should be posting in a second.
Yeah. I will be posting just a couple minutes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So yeah, let's go for some community questions now. Thank you very much for all of your time and your answers and explanations. My bro here, Millionaire, and also Artur. Thank you for the time here. If there's anything else you want to add that maybe I just I just didn't ask for any reason, but you have it in you and you want to share it because you want our investors here and our community to know. I think now it's the perfect time before we have the small AMA from the community now, so they can also get a shot at winning that NFT or the $20 worth of Ecto. So yeah, anything else you want to add? You want to say, or you want to get out of your chest? This will be the perfect time.
Sure, yeah. I don't really want to sell it anymore, but I just want to say there's a plethora of information in our Telegram channels and on our Discord. The community is one of a kind. I know a lot of people say that, but I mean, look at all the ghost profile pictures in here right now. Those guys and girls have had those for a long time. It's just such a tight knit community, and if you're someone who's looking for something that's more, I guess, that you could hold compared to a lot of other projects out there, this is definitely the one for you, because it's very easy to sell this project. It's very easy to get people excited about this project, and if that's something that you want to be a part of, Little Ghost crew, Little Ghost family is always going to be here with an open arms to accept you in. It's just an amazing community. I mean, we love it. We love having fun. We love shit posting. We love the memes. But we also love real development and real progress being made. And that's why a lot of these long-term members have been here for so long. So everybody's welcome to join, investor or not. So yeah, just want to kind of leave it off with that for the questions.
Awesome, man. And please keep selling us. That's why we're all here. We want you to sell us. That's the only reason why we're here in this AMA, because we want to listen to your beautiful voice and you just letting us know why our money needs to go to Little Ghost. So yeah, man, thank you for your time. Thank you for that. Also, thank you for your experience and your amazing energy. I also see that we have Tyler's Twitter on the chat. So if you want to investigate on Tyler, you can also do so here talking to our investors. So you can get some more information there. Also, please join if you like this project. If you want to know more information, maybe you want to ask something directly or maybe read, because it's important to do your own research. Read. I mean, there's so much more that maybe will not be discussed in this AMA because of time, because it will take you too much. But if you go to the Telegram group, Little Ghost group, then you will see a lot. There's a lot of pinned messages. There's messages starting from August. So you'll entertain yourself reading there and researching that. So I can tell you that for sure. So yeah, let's go ahead and open up for our community. I would love to hear a couple questions. Who wants to participate? Who wants to get a shot at that beautiful ghost NFT and maybe some money? Let's go. That's the time. So raise your hand. You can ask it on chat. Predator, are we going to have the community questions on voice chat, or will we have them on the chat? Yeah, I was going to ask you just.
Yeah, so I think we will divide in two parts. So people can ask in the voice chat. And also, I think, if people are shy to speak, they can write their questions. So also, I think, for people who is more, engaged, we will be definitely giving away some for people who asked a question in voice chat. So yeah, don't hesitate, guys. Okay, I can see we have a couple of hands. So first one was Omar, I think.
We'll give space for 5 people to ask questions. So we'll have 5 questions. That way we don't overextend. The ones that are typed in chat, so we'll choose some from chat and some from the VC as well. So let's do a maximum of 5 questions. Best questions are getting some prizes. Let's go.
Yeah, so Omar, you can speak now.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here and allow me to ask a question. I have only one question, actually, and it's about the NFT. I have with great utility options. Do I need to own NFT to get revenue reward of the game? So if I go great in the game, then if I own a ghost NFT as a holder, get I then an extra reward, or if it like your own Ecto? I'm sorry, if you, or just only if you own the token itself. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sure. So I'll try to just piece this together. So yes, everything does play a role inside of the game. Just to sort of begin, you do get rewarded based off of Ecto holdings. So currently, one of the utilities of Ecto itself, yes, it is an in-game currency. Yes, games like World of Warcraft might have gold to buy and sell items within shops that are inside the game. Ecto will be used as that currency within the Little Ghost MMO. It is also a determining factor in how much money you earn or how much BUSD you earn in the game itself as well. So that's one of the things. Number two, about the Ghost. Yes, the game is going to be a free-to-play game, and you are able to earn, but like I said, you're going to be able to earn more by holding the more Ecto you own. However, since the NFTs themselves, not only are they going to act as a cosmetic override, not only are they going to act as the requirement to even play in the beta, each individual ghost will have a set list of perks. So if you think about it, if you have a more powerful ghost, you are able to clear dungeons quicker, you are able to get to the end of the raid quicker, you are able to kill the boss quicker and get the loot quicker. So in a sense of you're just playing the game normally, you're able to play the game more efficiently with a ghost. And just to sort of clear this up, yes, we really, really have thought of everything. If the price of ghosts becomes so high where, you know, a typical or a normal investor might not be able to afford it, we will be offering rental programs where person A is going to be able to rent their own ghost without even leaving their wallet to person B for a small fee, whether it's hourly, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly. They will be able to rent ghost because, you know, as we all know, those that might not be able to afford it, but they have time to play the game, they could actually make more money by utilizing a service like this. So yes, more Ecto you have, the more money you make. The better ghost you have, the more efficiently you can clear raids and dungeons and get more loot, which in turn makes you more money. So like we were kind of mentioning before, we're really trying to build a game that is AAA title status. We want it to feel like a game even while you're earning money. A lot of these crypto games might not really feel like a game or might not even be that fun. So we're really trying to make it feel and run like a real MMO with the option to make money. Whether you're making money quick or slowly, in the end, you're making money.
Wow, very, very super bullish. Thank you for answering the question. For answering my question. Sorry. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Wonderful question. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here and listening.
Thank you for asking that question, Omar. All right, so we got space for a few more questions. Who else wants to ask a question? Please raise your hand or also type it on the chat. Me, Millionaire, and also Artur, we have some questions in the VC. If you feel like you want to answer one of those, you can go ahead and do so as well.
Yeah, I can cover the skeletons if you want, because we haven't really talked about them yet.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the skeletons were originally also a 10K collection, but we were minting kind of slow. So there was a DAO proposal to reduce them to 2.5K and move all the remaining customs into the remaining 850 skeletons or so. And that minted out in under 15 minutes, if I remember correctly, once it started going again. But the main utility about the skeletons is that they will be used in game as pets, and they will also provide some sort of perks. But we will know more about that once the wiki drops, about all forms of like mechanics and whatnot. And the skeletons, like I said, are limited to 2.5K. So in the open beta, at most 1/4 of the players could use them. So that should be pretty desirable, in my opinion, to have at least one off before we really take off.
Yeah, and if I could just add on quick.
Yeah, where can we look at the skeletons?
So I will kindly ask Artur to pull up the skeleton marketplace or pull up the rare board for skeletons. If I could just add on a little bit to that. So like we spoke about this earlier, transactions that occur inside of the marketplace all goes to ghost holders. We try to really make them have the most utility out of everything, since they were the original NFT collection and they are the basis behind the game. However, we really, really want everything to have a utility, like we had mentioned earlier. So skeletons also have voting power in the DAO. So if you do own one skeleton, that does count as one vote, just like if you own one ghost, it counts as one vote. So we gave them that voting power to sort of give them more use. And then to basically talk about the question that Omer asked, the reason that you might want to have your own little ghost, you want it to look a certain way. You could use it as a costume override, which is always fun. However, they will have additional abilities and perks to make you clear a dungeon or room quicker. With the skeleton being your pet, somebody might want that from an aesthetic standpoint to look really cool in game while they're in a waiting area. However, the real utility comes from them having special bonuses and perks to help fight alongside your ghost to clear dungeons. And if you think about it, you own Ecto, you make more money. You own a ghost and Ecto, you clear dungeons faster, you make more money. You own both of those as well as a skeleton, you're still clearing the dungeon at a more faster rate, therefore making more money. So the idea is that everything has a use, and right now skeletons are also part of that volume that is being traded on the exchange. And just to sort of wrap up about the skeletons, there will be more pet collections in the future. We do not know when, but we're not going to make them irrationally. They're going to be made sparingly and very well thought out. Like, for example, the next collection might not even be 2,500 or 5,000, and it might even be less. But they will all have their own special perks and their own special designs. They will come in 2D as well as 3D, I imagine. And yeah, it's just whatever we release in the future, if there's any more pet collections, they will have a use into the game, not just as what a lot of people might think of as just profile pictures on Twitter.
Nice. And let me ask you this: what's the role of Ecto like in the game? What does Ecto do for you as a ghost, besides just being the currency of little ghosts?
So yeah. So let's just break this down a little bit. So yes, whenever there's an MMO or a massive multiplayer online game, they do have currencies. In RuneScape, it's called gold pieces. In WoW, it's just called gold. In LittleGhosts Ectoplasm, it's going to be called Ecto. So that's how it's going to be used. You're going to need the token to be able to interact with shops, to maybe buy bow and arrow recharges, swords, weapons. Of course, there's going to be a lot of very, very basic gear that you're going to be able to own and purchase early on. And then obviously the much bigger things will come from drops and whatnot. But like I was mentioning earlier, the multiplier at which you earn inside of the game is going to be dependent on the Ecto holdings that you have. So not only is it going to be the currency that you earn, it's going to be the determining factor on how much money you are making. These
That's a great distinction, by the way, man. Great distinction there. So the more Ecto I hold, the more Ecto I earn by playing the game. And
correct.
the better the ghost that I have, the quicker I clear the dungeon, so the quicker I get the money. And also, depending on the skeleton that I have or the pet that I have, that will also boost my ghost and help me clear dungeons faster, hence helping me get more Ecto faster. And holding Ecto will actually get me more Ecto. So I can see how this whole engine works, right?
Yes. And then just to quickly add, we don't love talking about tokenomics as a utility because of how much, I mean, to be honest, for how much, actual utility there is. We don't like to talk about tokenomics too much, but you do also earn from simply holding Ecto, and you do not get paid in Ecto, so it does not have like a negatively inverse effect on the liquidity pool for Ecto. You are actually paid these rewards in BUSD, and you also earn this just from holding, and it pays out whenever X amount of Ecto has been transacted as far as the volume goes. So yes, you can earn by holding Ecto alone. If you're an investor that does not even care anything about the game, you can still own the currency and still earn on the currency itself as it's being traded and as transactions are happening on PancakeSwap and within the game.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for explaining that and taking the time for that as well.
Yeah, I think we have a question from Bahrain. You're allowed to speak. Bahrain, can you hear me?
Yeah, who's got the question?
Bahrain was raising hand, but he's not speaking now.
All right. Any other person with a hand up that wants to ask a question?
Yeah, we
questions we'll answer right now.
All right. So Ferre Angara, you're allowed to speak.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, wait, Ferre. So Bahrain was raising his hand, so your question will be next one.
So, thank you guys for this amazing AMA. I appreciate. And I have a question. But for first, I want to say for my bro friend Ömer, thank you very much to give us information about this amazing project. And now to my question. I read on your website in our roadmap that you plan staking. Can you give us any information? How will be your staking?
Sure. So for starters, the staking has been completed for some time now. And if you might have just hopped on the call, or maybe you remember from early on when we were speaking, I know this has been going on for a little over an hour. The community has just been extremely on board with big decisions that are being made, and we take a lot into account the whole ecosystem as a whole. Staking has actually been done for about a month now. Staking is completed. Staking has been audited by Tyler himself, the person who coded it. It's entirely done. The thing is that we would really like to release it. We're more or less waiting for the perfect time. Staking is coming. Staking will be here, and it is done, but we're just sort of waiting on the best time possible. And I think right now we're sort of thinking about we sort of want a little bit more volume on the daily before we release something like this, because then the entire liquidity pool just wouldn't get drained at once, and it just wouldn't have negative price impacts. But it is done, it is coming, and it will pay more. Not only are your coins going to be locked up, and then you will get more Ecto in the end, you are still earning the BUSD the entire time through normal transactions and the normal BUSD reflection payout. So yes, staking is going to be a really big way to make some money. But like I said, just waiting on the perfect time to release it when the ecosystem is just really sustainable, and then it'll be coming out, and then all the information will follow suit.
Okay, in my opinion, that's the right answer and the right strategy for that. But another question about the staking, as you said now, you want to on the staking to give reward to the people, to the staker, as Ecto coins and also BUSD. That's right.
Yeah. So currently by holding right now, you get paid out in BUSD, but there is a reserve pool of Ecto itself that would get added to your holdings, as well as earning BUSD the entire time. So even as your coins are locked up, you do earn that Ecto at the end of the staking period. However, you're still getting BUSD dropped into your wallet simultaneously.
Okay. And do you think it is the best strategy to give people also BUSD as reward? Then we saw in other coins or other projects that with this strategy we can get a lot of problems, and the price drop down. If we give both coins or and BUSD or USDT or whatever as rewards. Do you have any plan B, or what will be your reaction if you see that the price drop down? Then if for every reward you have to, the contract have to sell coins to pay the rewards.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I'm going to be honest, that's one of the main reasons why we're sort of delaying the staking, because we just want to make sure it's going to be as healthy for the ecosystem as possible while having it. There are talks. So I don't want to speculate too much right now, but there are a lot of talks about the current taxes within the ecosystem. These things can be changed. And just to kind of give you an example here, if we do reduce the taxes, that means that the amount that the contract has to sell is much less. Yes, maybe the community members are earning a little bit less, but in this case, it is more healthy for the ecosystem and the longevity of the project. So if the taxes are adjusted in a way where you're able to earn BUSD as well, on top of earning more ecto, that'll be more healthy for the ecosystem as a whole. And that's sort of why we have this model where it can be adjusted, where the DAO can help make decisions and propose ideas, because exactly what you're asking is a very critical question, and it's obviously something that is not what we're worried about right now, but obviously a month from now, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months from now, that could be an issue that needs to be looked at. So yeah, that's a brilliant question. But just to sort of shed some light on my personal experience and what I hear from the chats, even though a lot of people are getting paid in BUSD, believe it or not, a fair bit of holders, and yes, this is just an opinion, it seems like a fair bit of holders are sometimes putting that BUSD back into the ecosystem somehow, whether it's to buy more ecto, whether it's to buy a ghost, whether it's to buy a skeleton, or even just to save BUSD on the side. It seems like it's been an okay model for now, but what you said is an extremely good point, and we do have the means to adjust it as long as we need it, whenever we need it, to make sure that the ecosystem is as healthy as possible. So yeah, that's a great point to bring up. So I mean now I'm even thinking about it. So yeah, that was excellent.
Pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Parain.
Yes, excuse me. Can you repeat? Crypto Rick, do you ask me something? Sorry.
No, just saying that's a great question, man. Thank you for asking that question, participating on this AMA. Yeah.
Yes, we, as I said, I found the project really amazing, and it is, how can I say that? Sorry for my English. I'm coming from Germany and native from Frankreich.
Doing great, man.
And it is, if we want that the project goes up, we have to bring our experience also and speak with the developers. And thank you very much for this great project. And feel free to ask anyone everything. We are here. We are also here to help you guys.
Great, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your question. So last question right now will be, I believe, Predator, just correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's going to be Foray Angara, which was the one that was asking question. And I think he's our last question. Just correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he was raising his hand, yeah.
Perfect. So we'll close it up with Foray. The stage is yours. Go ahead and ask away.
Faray, can you hear us?
Faray?
What, sir? Hello?
Okay, great. Yeah, it's your time to ask your question. You're going to be the final question on this AMA. So yeah, go ahead.
I can ask a question, sir?
Sorry?
I can ask a question.
Yes, you can ask a question. Yes.
Okay. Can you explain how is your tokenomics distribution and how many located by team? Thank you.
All right. So the tokenomics distribution and the other part of the question, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Did you get the question, mate?
Wait.
Yeah. So tokenomics and what else?
Second question. Listing on the right exchange, especially major exchange, help to increase the token price and it's a form of marketing. So where can YB token and what plan do you have for listing on major exchange, DEX and checks? Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, a great question. I'll first tackle the tokenomics. As I actually just pulled it up, and as I said that, I'm currently not looking at it, but let me pull it back up. Light paper. We do have a light paper, but I'm gonna just quickly take a look at it again because it is a little complex. So let's first start with the tokenomics. I will just go down the list. I will actually take a picture and send it to Artur so he can share it easily because it is a mouthful, and I will send it over to him. He's messaging me right now. He will post this. He'll post it to the chat for you guys. So the total supply is 1 trillion. About 20% of that is burnt. About 20% of that was used for the initial ICO. About 20% of that is reserved for centralized exchange listings, and that's all currently locked. 15% is used for the staking pool. 10% was used to fund the liquidity pool. 5% is used for future game earnings. 5% is used for airdrops, and 5% is used for development team. I'm going to just explain a little bit about some of these divided up parts of the token supply. Although some of these things do have a title, such as reserved for airdrops, reserved for development team, they are subject to change. If we need more money into the game, if we need more ecto because the game's output has been too much and we need to adjust it, we will end up using airdrop, future game earning, development team tokens for those uses. We're trying to run this project at a very adaptable view. As you noticed from our last question, he was speaking about how are we going to combat tax pressures and all that stuff. But there are solutions for everything, and we can do everything. I'm just putting it out there. Our liquidity is not locked, and I know a lot of investors look for this in a project. But the idea is, if we're trying to be a legitimate, if we're trying to be the most, if we're trying to compete with the best of the best, we know it can't be because of future endeavors. We do have a doxed CEO and developers, so it's not like there's any risk there because they are all going to be able to be held accountable. So we do everything in mind to be adaptive for the future. And I don't mean to kind of go into that little tangent, but I want to set the stage. So that's how all of our tokens are burnt. If you really think about it and you really break it down, out of 1 trillion tokens, 20% was used for the ICO and 10% was used to fund the LP. So right now, even though our market cap is around $4 million, the actual circulating supply market cap is just around 1.5 million. So it's just crazy to think about. When you actually zoom out and see the distribution of coins, you really see what the project's valued, and it's just crazy. So now that I said that, let's jump into the tokenomics. I'm sure by now there's an image posted somewhere. There is a 15% tax to reward the holders and to fund the ecosystem. This tax is currently halved by the developers. So basically, no matter what the tax is, if it's 1%, 10%, 15%, whatever the tax is, it gets split up by a couple things that adds up to 15%. So 8% of the rewards goes directly to Ecto holders. And as an Ecto holder, these rewards are very, very significant. They do happen, and they have been happening much more frequently because of our increase in volume. This is also independent of the price. So you can get BUSD rewards regardless of the price as long as there's volume. This is a very interesting one. Like I said earlier, we really want LittleGhosts and the LittleGhost NFTs to have the highest utility out of anything in our ecosystem. So even if you do not own any Ecto volume can go back to LittleGhost holders in the form of BNB. So as LittleGhosts also earn money from reflections off the marketplace, they quite literally also earn off of Ecto, which is entirely separate, off of Ecto, the coin being transacted as well. So that's just another way of giving back to them. There's 1% being sent to a pool to fund the play to earn aspects of the MMO. So to answer another question, this is how the play to earn aspects will always get revitalized, and how there will never be any issues later down the road with maybe lack of coins or something like that. So there's always going to be a way to generate more money for the game. 1% is going to be sent to the staking pool. So again, something that might have a lot of coins getting taken out can always be replenished through transaction volume. And then 3% goes for marketing and development purposes. At the moment, a lot of the money that is going to the team gets immediately reinvested into the ecosystem. Like I said, there's a few people on payroll. A lot of money needs to get put into the 3D Blender aspects of the game. Like all these bosses that we saw earlier, they are not cheap. They do cost upwards of thousands of dollars to get done. And this is just one boss. This is just one NPC. So that's why we have a very, very laid out breakdown of our tokenomics, because there's a lot of facets in this ecosystem and a lot of things that need to get funded, and a lot of it is going to be coming from the token being used, because if the token is being used, that means people are buying and selling it. So yeah, we did think of a very organic way to fuel the ecosystem, and whether people are buying or selling, the ecosystem is still being supported. So that's sort of why we have a sort of complex breakdown of tokenomics. Great question, by the way.
Great, man, and great answer as well. Great and detailed answer, not just the question. The question was really good. The answer was good as well. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to answer that. So yeah, those are all our questions. Thanks everyone who is still here. This AMA has been almost 90 minutes long, and we still have 25 participants here in the VC, so that's great. Thank you, Millionaire, for your time and also in the name of the whole LittleGhost NFT team. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing the community. Thank you for bringing the energy and also the information for our investors.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Seriously, like I said, this was a community-driven thing to make it possible. So I really appreciate Artur for just having such amazing connections. Just being in a group like this, I'm definitely going to stay, see what you guys are all about. Definitely join future AMAs, and yeah, just really, really appreciate you all having us. Really, seriously.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing before we wrap up. I want to say big thank you to JMW420, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be having this AMA. He shilled, I think, LittleGhosts in my channel. I went to your TG group and I saw that your community is really amazing. And yeah, I contacted Artur and we have this AMA now. So yeah, shilling community is number one, I think, marketing plan to having a good and successful coin.
Yeah, thank you so much, JMW420. Again, appreciate that a lot, man. That's really big. Appreciate you.
Community is number one marketing.
Hard lately. It's all thanks to him that we have this AMA.
Yeah. Thanks, Artur. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Predator, for having me here hosting this AMA. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure, man.
Thank you as well.
So we're good to go. Thank you, everyone, for joining here. Please, if you have any more questions or you want any information or you want to get involved in LittleGhost NFTs, just go to their Telegram group. They have a friendly community there. They're going to give you support. They're going to answer your questions. And take a look as well on the Predator Calls chat. We will be announcing the winners of the best questions and from the NFTs. So keep an eye on everything. So peace out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
See you
Thanks
next time.
again. Hey, Crypto
Bye.
Ray,
Thank you so much.
can you please send me a DM so we
Amazing
can
AMA.
take care of that?
Oh, perfect. All right. We'll DM you the
Okay,
winners.
thank you guys so much. Appreciate it a lot. Seriously.
Great.
Have a wonderful
Thanks.
day, night, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Was happy to be here. See you maybe another time on some recap of some sort.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.